Lag is a universal thing that all gamers hate, so in this video I'm going to teach you guys how you can go ahead and get rid of that lag in your games and make it run as smooth as possible. And we're going to be using a type of frame generation called lossless scaling. So let's get straight into the video on how you can use it. So the first thing you want to go ahead and do is open up any browser of your choice. In this case mine is Google Chrome. Once you're on Google Chrome, you just want to go ahead and search up Steam download. Once you see Steam, just click the first link you see on the top, and then you should see an install button right here. Click that, go through the setup process, and then you'll be greeted with a page like this. And then once you're on the Steam homepage, you just want to click search the store here and search up lossless scaling, and it should be the first result here with the dot. Once you're on lossless scaling, you just want to add it to your cart and purchase it as normal. And then once you open lossless scaling, it will look something like this. Now I know these are a lot of options, but don't worry, I'll be going through each and every one of them. So make sure you pay attention so you get nothing wrong. So the first thing you got is profiles. You can create different profiles by just clicking the blue button here, name it, and add a filter. This is good if you want to use it with different games or have different preferences. And then you have the main feature, LSFG 3.1. This is the frame generation and is what actually inserts the frames into your games. You always want to make sure that it's on the latest version, which is as of right now LSFG 3.1. On the mode, you always want to have it fixed so the multiplier stays the same. And then you have two options between fixed and adaptive, but unless you know what you're doing, keep it on fixed because it's a lot more stable. And the multiplier here is upgrade your game performance. So 2 stands for 2 times performance, 3 stands for 3 times performance, and 4 stands for 4 times performance, and so on. But you don't want to go too high because it adds a lot of latency. But if you don't notice any latency, you can go ahead and crank that number up. And the flow scale is in control of all the motion smoothness. You ideally want to leave that in the middle or slightly right. And for this performance option, you want to make sure that's disabled unless your PC is extremely weak, and more specifically the GPU. And then you've got scaling, and ideally you should be using FSR, but you can experiment with it, but FSR is overall the most compatible one. And then you'll get sharpness with how clear the upscaling is. You want to have it 5, 6 or 7, but if you leave it too high, you'll get some halo effect. And once again, if you've got an extremely bad GPU, you want to just go ahead and turn on this setting. And for mode, you just want to leave that on auto because everything else is just a little too confusing. And then for most people, you just want to leave the mode on auto, and you want to keep the second one on aspect ratio, otherwise you might get some stretching. And for capture, you want to keep the API the same because this has the best compatibility. And for Q target, you can play around with it, but ideally 1 should be the best. But for the most part, leaving it as it is should be fine, and only play around with these settings if you're not getting the results you want. And to get it running, you just want to open any game of your choice. In my case, I'm using Grand Theft Auto 5. So at the moment, you can see I am the man himself, Trevor Phillips. Unfortunately, my PC does run a little bit too smooth. So for the sake of the video, I'm going to tone down my FPS to 30. And beforehand, you want to make sure that all forms of frame generation and frame scaling is off. Now you might not be able to tell, but I definitely can. My game is extremely choppy. But now I can just go ahead and open up lossless scaling. You just want to go ahead and click the Windows icon on your keyboard, or Alt tab out if that doesn't work. You also have the option to click Control Alt and S, which automatically scales, but for the sake of the video I'm going to do it manually. So you just want to go ahead and click scale on lossless scaling. Quickly open up your application, get a full screen. You can see it's choppy right now. And then now that I've got the frame generation, you might be able to suddenly tell that it's immediately smoothed out. And at the moment I'm getting 60 FPS despite actually being on 30. One of my friends has even done it on his old crappy laptop and it works perfectly. And if you need any help, join the server, link in the description, and I'll help you to the best of my ability. I ran into a tree.